Okay, hey, let's take a few minutes and talk about the idea of happiness and specifically happiness as premiums. I mean, happiness at this point in our lives is something that we've talked about. We had images of what it meant as a little kid. I'm sure, have all gone through a lot of experiences in life that have made us rethink about what that definition could be. I remember as a kid, remember the Snoopy Happiness Is, the little book and all the little beautiful pages, and it put us into a mindset. And then we grew up and found out that maybe happiness was more like John Lennon, a warm gun who unfortunately died because of a hot gun. So, what really is happiness? And is there a definition? Is there something that really relates to all of us? Is there a common platform? So one of the things I thought I'd maybe kick out there just for us to think about is, do we confuse the word pleasure with happiness? Because, as Sheryl Crow once said, if makes you so happy, why are you so sad? Because sometimes the pursuit of pleasure really doesn't necessarily bring us to happiness. And sometimes happiness might not even require pursuit. It might require more of a sense of awareness or a kind of a acknowledgement. Maybe it could be something as simple as not allowing our future to be a prisoner of our past. Things which happened in the past are in the past. It doesn't mean that we don't have to deal with them. It doesn't mean that we don't have to come to terms or to grips with them. It doesn't even mean that the pain necessarily of some of the things in our past goes away. But it shouldn't mean that it owns our future. We can grow from those things, pain included, and we can learn lessons from that. Hopefully not to repeat the things that caused us pain in the first place. And just that already can bring tremendous happiness because it tells us that we're free. We're free to go out there and claim our future. And as you get to be a premium, guys and girls, or men and women, future is not as long as it used to be. I mean, when we were 20 and somebody said, oh, that person is 40, that was like dinosaur Rex. So now that we're 60, 70, and 80, what is that, right? First of all, it doesn't really matter. However, the point being is that time is a finite commodity. And if we don't grab our happiness, real happiness, inner happiness, things that really are maybe not even recognized by other people, right? I mean, is happiness having a lot of money? In fact, I'll even tell you a story. When I grew up in Great Neck, I don't want to mention the name of the family, but we were on the poor side of the town. That meant we were like in, upper middle class. And there was one kid who was a dear friend of a lot of ours, and we just kind of knew him as another regular kid. One day, long after we left high school, we came back after college and hanging out, and we went to visit him, but they were no longer living in that house. They had moved to Kings Point, the super rich area of Great Neck. And it turned out that his family is one of the wealthier families in the United States. And I remember when I saw his mother, who knew me growing up, and I said, Mrs. So-and-so, whoa, what's this all about? She said, we thought that our money might ruin our children. So we wanted our children to grow up in a healthy, sound situation so that when we knew that they were really well-adjusted, good kids, then we could splurge. And now that all the kids are out of the house, we're enjoying. So to them and to the man in England, money was not an end-all or a source of happiness. Rather, it was an opportunity to help and give, and that in itself could really bring happiness. What about love? What about love in a marriage? Are many people in marriages truly in love? Are many people maybe in marriage because it's just kind of convenient, or it's something they've gone through, or who knows what? I don't know many people who are really happily in love in marriage. And if they are, it's maybe even less in numbers as the years go by. But what is the secret to finding happiness in love? I think the first thing may be to distinguish between love and infatuation. When you are infatuated with a man or a woman or your lover, infatuation means that person can do no wrong. They are perfect. And I remember once Bill Cosby, am I allowed to mention his name anymore? Okay. So I remember somebody once said how he fooled his wife for the first 6 months of their marriage into thinking that he didn't fart. And then one day he farted. Oh my gosh, look at that. He's human. And that's where love comes in. When you can see your partner as a human being and accept him or her with their faults and their features, good and bad, then that can really bring love. And that's why love can be really, truly the foundation of a real marriage. But I think it has to be coupled with a second, no pun intended, has to be coupled with a second key point. And that is, many of us make a mistake, myself included, make a mistake and go into marriage thinking about, what am I going to get out of that marriage? What will having a wife do for me? What will it give me on a physical, emotional, spiritual level? On the other hand, if you go into a marriage as a golden opportunity of what can you give to the woman or the man, your partner that you love, then it's not about me, it's about the other. And with focusing on giving, you get. Because sometimes the greatest level of actually getting is through giving. Because if you pour true love, not infatuation, but true love into your partner, then the happiness that you will find coming back, as well as the love that will come back at you, is something that will saturate your house. And if you're living in saturated happiness, you're bound to become somebody who's really happy. So that's just some thoughts on premium happiness. We've seen a lot of false advertising as to what happiness is. I think we all really know it at this point in our lives when we recognize it. And I think that each of us deserves to have that happiness, freeing ourselves from anything in the past that can hold us back to claiming our future, not mistaking pleasure as automatically being that which is happiness, and really finding a partner through whom we can create happiness by giving and then as a result receiving happiness.